What if Erwin got the Colossal Titan instead of Armin? Would he have supported Eren's decision of the rumbling? Our nights were ruined the moment we saw Erwin fall to his eventual death. I'm sure most of us have often wished for him to have been chosen by Levi as the next Colossal Titan. And guess what? You're likely to find the fates of your favorite character change in this theory too. Maybe Sasha and Hanji won't have to die after all. So, let's not beat around the bush and make your dream come true with our what if theory. For the sake of coherency, we will go along with two different scenarios like usual. Preventing Erwin's death opens up countless exciting possibilities that will definitely change the story for good or worse. After a long yet difficult decision to make, Levi injects Erwin with a Titan syringe at last. Though, it would be horrible to watch Armin breathe his last breath. It's safe to say that Mikasa and Eren would be profusely traumatized and depressed at the sight of that. As soon as Erwin wakes up, he is likely to criticize Levi for his emotionally driven decision to choose him over Armin. While on the other hand, Eren and Mikasa would be mourning Armin's death pretty drastically. Sooner or later, after recollecting themselves, the Survey Corps would head out to see what is in the basement. Just picture Erwin with a surprised grin of a child when he finds out that humanity did not perish outside the walls after all. The news of the return of the commander of the Survey Corps is sure to rile up the people of the walls to a much greater magnitude. Let's not forget that he'd have his arm back too. The flames of hope that Hanji talked about would still persist abundantly, as Erwin would be an even bigger hero than he was before. After clearing out most of the Titans left outside the walls, they would finally head out to see the sea. I know, it just wouldn't hit the same without Armin. Everything will pick up the pace once the Marley arc starts. Most of the events up until the declaration of war wouldn't be any different. Erwin is actually going to let Eren bite into Willy Tiber's obvious bait with a meticulous agenda in his own mind. Paradise might be able to flourish if only Eren is painted as a bad guy, so Erwin will let it happen. Amidst Eren's absolute chaos, Erwin would transform into the Colossal Titan and lay waste to the entire Liberio fleet with his nuke. However, he wouldn't just stop there. While Eren holds back the Jaw Titan and the Warhammer Titan, Erwin would join in and provide support to the Survey Corps. This would not only strengthen their position, but it would also make sure that there are no needless casualties as well. This means that Eren would be able to eat both the Jaw and the Warhammer with Erwin's help, who would prevent Reiner from interfering. His Colossal would also enable a safe exit without any intrusion from Gabi and Falco, unlike the original plot. Do you know what that means? Our potato girl, Sasha, wouldn't have to die and break our hearts either. We'll get to see our heroes travel back, barely losing anybody due to Erwin's cunningness. Though, Eren would still be reprimanded for his recklessness, and Zeke would have to deal with both Levi's and Erwin's trash-talking this time around. The more the merrier. As they return successfully from Marley, Eren would be locked up just like before. Zeke can expect the same treatment too. Now, Erwin's life isn't just bound to the Colossal Titan. This is where he will get to shine now that we're into the political phase of the story. As we know, Erwin is one heck of a leader and he isn't going to let things fall out of place. The dangers of a civil war and the existence of the Jaegerists would be zero to none due to Erwin's extraordinary influence. He will set things straight and would visit Eren in his cell instead of Hanji. Eren would find himself being called Paradise Defender by Erwin. Of course, it makes sense that Erwin wouldn't want to lose Eren's favor now that he knows that the entire world would be coming to fight against them. It is only a short-term alliance for Erwin anyway, since he would prioritize Paradise's future over Eren's. The Survey Corps would begin their planning to counter the world's wrath. Marley's sudden infiltration is something that they probably wouldn't expect. Though, I must admit that Erwin would consider it a possibility in the back of his head. How cool would it be to watch Erwin figure it out before they ambush and entirely subdue their forces with ease? Eren and our favorite characters would be prepared by Erwin to lead the charge with him when the time comes. The war for Paradise would be an outright blast. As Marley makes their move, Erwin and others will intercept them immediately and have them on the back foot the entire time. Under Levi's supervision, Zeke would come in as a reinforcement and drive Marley back by showering them with massive boulders. The absence of the Jaw and the Warhammer Titan would cost Marley a lot. They are definitely going to struggle to hold their own. On Erwin's orders, Zeke, Eren, and others will clearly draw the fight away from the walls and force Marley to retreat far away. Erwin would use this opportunity to flank and use his Colossal Titan to demolish the Marleyan military once and for all. A sudden twist would ruin it all when Eren and Zeke purposely come into contact with each other. This is when Eren would trigger the rumbling and proclaim to destroy the entire world. However, our Sasageyo boy would have a trick or two up his sleeve as well. He would at least let Eren annihilate the combined military of the world and then strike him all at once. A healthy Levi is sure to make his mark and help the Survey Corps to victory. A prolonged battle is going to take place, but Eren would be stopped before he could do any more damage to the world. The tragic ending would still exist, but there would be a lot less destruction. All I want to hear is another Suzume and I would die in peace. The first scenario was filled with a whole lot of epic moments, but the second one is where we have to be realistic. If we look at it plausibly, Erwin wouldn't even let the Marleyan declaration of war happen at any cost. Their trip to Marley would be much earlier and Erwin would diplomatically negotiate Paradise freedom with Marley and the rest of the world. It's easier said than done though. The world's hatred towards Paradise would obviously take some time to settle down. In the meantime, our main characters would continue training and developing their own nation. Erwin would make sure that Paradise is constantly trading with other countries to send a message of peace. Regardless of all the peace attempts made by Paradise, I hope you realize that Eren would be out for revenge. Armin's death coupled with the terrible past memories would mess up his head, making him doubt Erwin and the world's intentions. Eren would still make the effort to contact Zeke and craft a plan of their own. You can't always be too sure. Even Erwin would be pretty skeptical of the world if they do end up accepting Paradise people as human beings. Let's be honest, centuries of hatred won't just die down randomly. During the treaties, propaganda is likely to spread and put an end to peaceful times soon enough. Haters of Paradise would plan to frame them so that the world sees them as the aggressor once again. The cycle of hatred would carry on with Eren initiating his own plan with Zeke and doing a rumbling yet again in this scenario. The world would come to understand that they've made a huge mistake when they see millions of colossal titans charging towards them. Erwin would try his best to make sure that the damage is as minimal as possible. But this time around, Eren would be able to wipe out almost all of humanity as swiftly as possible. They would have to kill Eren to stop this madness, and the story will end just as it did before. Erwin would be horrified at the sight of the world on the brink of extinction, lands destroyed and wildlife ceasing to exist. His efforts were practically useless, although his leadership and diplomacy are unmatched. His only mistake would be to underestimate the hatred that the world carries for the subjects of Ymir. Interestingly, Eren seems to know all about it because of the attack titan he inherited, and he acted accordingly. Most of the fans would have loved to see Erwin back, but it seems like it'll remain a long-lost dream. It's always fun experiencing a whole new story, right? If so, I've got just the theory for you. What if Muzan killed all the demon moons? Would he come out victorious? If you wish to find out, then the only way is to check out the video right here. See you later until then.